What's good to the tribe? It's Wanaghi. Want to stop by and drop a clip off to you guys. But before we start, stop, hit the like button, and I appreciate you guys. I hope everybody's feeling safe, secure, and as healthy as can be. So this clip today is coming from Black Power Media. And shout out to him. Make sure you guys go subscribe and definitely like up on the video. But this clip today is coming from Dr. Leonard Jeffries Jr. And I know a lot of people that have been dealing with consciousness should know who this is. But I'll tell you one time and I'll tell you again. This is an awesome time to be alive. When truths are coming forward. And people are telling their truths. See, one thing about it, when we've been dealing with Pan-Africans over the years, they've always had this thing with us of self-hate. We hate ourselves. We hate being black. We hate being African. We hate Africa. When it's nothing of the sort, man. We just love ourselves. We know our story. I know with the genealogy that I have done, that I have no African ancestors or relatives. And if I do, they're very far and few in between, if any. It's like finding, how they say, a needle in a haystack. I don't hate Africa. Africa is an awesome place, so to say, to visit or research up on the history. But I'm not African. I'm American. I'm from the Americas. So that's why I deal with America more, because I want to know where I'm at. I want to know where my ancestors are buried and my family has always been. I want to be able to tell my son what the Americas has to offer. North, South, Central, conjoining islands, all of the above. It's the Americas. So it's just weird to me that it's always a point where they say we're self-hating or we hate Africa when it's nothing of the sort. Like I say, we play for the home team. I don't play for the away team. I play for the home team, which is the Americas. But in this interview, he's giving his truth. He's talking about his relatives. And in this interview, it's kind of weird to me because he says what his mother's mother is, which is Powhatan. Like he says, Pocahontas' people. And then he talks about another relative that didn't really want to convert to Christianity, end up passing away, and they wanted to be buried like an Indian. They didn't want to be buried any other way. So I asked this, right? If the relative wanted to be buried as an Indian and didn't want to take on Christian ways, why didn't he want to be buried as an African? If he's an African, why didn't he want to be buried like that? Why would he want to be buried as an Indian if he wasn't an Indian? Why would his parents or his mom tell him that they're Powhatan and you go against the grain? Like I said before, on all the rest of these people that are Pan-African leaders that have all this American Indian heritage and American Indian lineage and were brought up in the customs and traditions, what happened? Because to me, it looks like you have a lot of self-hate. You hate yourself. You hate being American Indian. You hate being American. And that's wild to me. But let's get into the clip and I'll let you guys hear for yourself. Definitely leave a comment if you watch this. It's crazy. Let's get it.
That meant that this little Lenny, who came into the world, he had a special mission. And so I'm glad that my mother didn't hesitate to lay it out for us and then take us down south so that we could see what the conditions were and what our people had. And they had their farms, they had their communities, they built their own schools. They were not waiting in the darkness for the Europeans to bring the light. They were raising the light up for their own development. So the foundation is deep, the soil is fertile, and it includes also the Native Americans. And my mother said, her mother was Powhatan Indian, Pocahontas' people. I said, Mom, really?
My mother said, her mother was Powhatan Indian, Pocahontas' people. I said, Mom, really?
And my mother said, her mother was Powhatan Indian, Pocahontas' people. I said, Mom, really? And of course, she proved it, that the Powhatan Indian Nation was a part of our family. In fact, her grandfather, he refused to accept completely the Christian formula that we had used to adjust to. So he had businesses and other activity. And when he died, the rumor was he didn't want that complete Christian burial. And so he didn't die right. It meant that he wanted to have some Native American traditions woven into his passing.
Didn't want that complete Christian burial, and so he didn't die right. Meant that he wanted to have some Native American traditions woven into his passing.
So he had businesses and other activity, and when he died, the rumor was he didn't want that complete Christian burial, and so he didn't die right. It meant that he wanted to have some Native American traditions woven into his passing. But the beautiful thing was he helped to generate monies that was passed down through the family even after he left here. The children, my mother's brothers and sisters, were receiving money from his legacy. He had a blacksmith shop, he had a boating operation. So this is, when we talk about the South and we talk about slavery and we talk about oppression of white folks, for me, it was good to see that we were able to go through that process and then stand up on our own feet and then wage a battle of serious survival and development.
So that was the clip. We've been jumping around these Pan-African leaders, and you can see all of them are tied to the Americas. No matter how much they try to promote Pan-Africanism or Africa. And I'll say this over and over again, I have no problem with Africa or Africans. I just know I'm not an African American. I just know my relatives and my ancestors have been here forever. And I don't have any self-hate. I love myself. Probably that's the reason a lot of us put this information out, because we love ourselves. We actually learn to love ourselves and do the research and a genealogy to go back on our ancestors to know who we were. Genealogy is the key. And now that people are doing it and waking up to this fact, you'll find out everybody's not the fucking same. You can't generalize and put everybody in a fucking box just because we all have brown skin. That doesn't work. And people need to get past this. And I think the Pan-Africans see that now. That's why their Tower of Babel is slowly crumbling. Nobody want to hear that shit no more. People want to hear who you descend from. Who's your bloodline? Who do you tie to in all of this history, our story? How do you fit in? But just wanted to drop this off to you guys today, since we put out the rest of these Pan-African leaders that have been pushing this go back to Africa and Africa everything else movement. Just know that most people that are pushing this are really American Indians and have the lineage and grew up in the traditions, and their relatives and their ancestors were buried in these traditions. But I love you guys. Like I say, make sure you guys leave a comment if you watch, if you disagree, or what may have you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, definitely share. If you mess with me, definitely support the channel. Feathers up, tribe up, wise up, rise up.